Hello. Sorry if you hear music in the background. My roommates are home, so I don't want to have them overhearing me, whatnot. Anyways, it is February 2nd, about 10:20 at night. Um, so, last video I said that I'd be doing lots of different topics, whatnot. One I wasn't planning on doing, but one I've been thinking about lately is how being trans has really affected my life, like from childhood up till now. Childhood, I didn't realize it too much, but now I do. Now, when I think back to when I was a kid, I realized, man, I don't know, being trans really affected how I did things. Anyways, yeah, when I was little, like little, I grew up with neighbor boys, and I always thought that I should be able to do exactly what they did. They played football and baseball and, I don't know, ran around with their shirts off, everything like that. And I was like, okay, I should be able to do that too. I wanted to play football so bad when I was little, so bad. Still want to play football, but I wasn't allowed. I was a little girl. And even though now they let girls play in, Pop Warner, it's still not as, I don't know, acceptable. Stupid gender binary. But anyways, it really affected me. And as a kid, I didn't have a lot of outlets, I guess, for expressing myself aside from sports. And I was a super sensitive kid anyways, like emotionally. My parents always say that I was really easy to raise, in the sense that I was never rebellious. I mean, I was at times, but for the most part, I wasn't rebellious, but I was very emotional. Had to see therapists when I was little because I couldn't deal with other kids picking on me, usually for being, very masculine, not being like all the other little girls. But anyways, and then getting into high school, I think about it now, and in high school, I changed. I grew out my hair. I tried to be super feminine to fit in. And it worked for a while. But really, I almost wish I didn't do it. Because had I just kept on being who I felt like I was, then I wouldn't have, I don't know. Because now when I run into people from high school, like, I have short hair again, and I'm dressing much more masculine and stuff, and I think they're kind of like, what the heck's going on? Because for most of my life, people just kind of accepted that I was masculine and I was good at sports and whatnot. But, yeah. And then getting into college, it has really affected me as well. Even just trying to choose a major and, like, choose a possible career, which is always changing. I can't imagine doing it in a certain gender, specifically female. But for a long time I wanted to be a teacher, and I was like, I couldn't imagine going to work as a female every day, and now I think about that as in every career. But teaching was hard, and then when I got into college, I applied to be part of the Nevada Air National Guard. And that's something I've always wanted to do, is have a bit of a military career. But at that age, I knew that I was trans. I had gender issues, so I went through all the medical stuff and everything like that. But I stopped, and I said now's not the right time, and I'm glad I did, because I'd be miserable right now. But yeah, being trans has really affected my life. And I'm probably not picking the best examples, but it's affected a lot of decisions. Even relationships and stuff. Because I've always identified as being heterosexual. So as a female, I dated guys. And I dated one of my best friends for a long time. And then I dated another guy for 2.5 years, and yeah, a lot of it was an attempt to not be trans and to just fit into the binary, date a guy like you should. So I dated him for a long time, and it was great. I mean, I learned a lot, but it was fighting against myself. And I'm not happy that I did that. I mean, I do not regret the relationship at all. I learned a lot about myself. Learned that this is not something that I can just sweep under the rug and combat. Some people say you should, that just ignore it. There are more important things, but I can't anymore. And so I feel so guilty for putting him through that. He doesn't know I'm trans, obviously. But I feel really guilty for putting him through that because he was fully committed, wanted to get married, whatever. But I knew that it would never work out because I couldn't change who I was. I tried really hard, but it was kind of miserable. And I ended up living with him for 8 months, and he was in Poland, so I lived in Poland for 8 months, going to school. But yeah, it's affected a lot. But on that same note, while it has affected my life, and a lot of times I wonder how my life would have been had I been cis male, getting opportunities to do other sports in high school and stuff like that, I do not regret that I wasn't born cis male. I think being trans and having this whole, experience has just made me a much more well-rounded individual and built my character. And then, this sounds weird, but ever since I kind of figured out that I was trans, I stopped trying to figure out who I was based on gender, based on anything like that, and just figure out what kind of made me happy. So I got super involved. I raised guide dogs, and I worked at a camp for blind kids for 3 years, and just doing stuff like that. And I don't think I would have been that conscientious and that compassionate had I been born cis male. If that makes sense? I don't know. But it's almost like I try to do good things to make up for what I feel, not to be negative, but that's difficult for me to process. That's difficult for me, that I feel unsure about. Anyway, yeah. So I do not regret having a effed up gender identity throughout my life. It's just, I wonder how my childhood would have been like had I been a boy. And granted, I essentially grew up as a little boy anyways. I did run around with my shirt off for as long as I could, but there were still things I wasn't allowed to do because I was a girl. But anyways, I keep saying anyways. Okay. So yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. That just not regret, but wondering. So, if anyone's interested, probably not, but I started a blog on Tumblr as well. It's called The Little Boy Within, just because I think after 21 years, that little boy that's always been within me, that I kind of never let out, should have the opportunity to say what he wants to say. So I just started a random blog. Check it out if you want, doesn't matter. But I'm going to stop that here. I get really long-winded, so yeah. Next video, I have no idea. Probably talk about family progress, because that's rather interesting. But anyways, hope you guys are doing well, and I will catch you on the flip side.